Welcome back to the Catholic Journey. This is Deacon Pat, and I'm coming to you from our studios in Rockland, California, a suburb of Sacramento. Boy, do I have a podcast for you today, and here is the topic: why God sometimes lets your plans fall apart. Have you ever had a moment in your life when everything seemed to fall apart? A plan failed, a door closed, a dream collapsed, and in that moment, you may have asked the question many of us have asked at some point: God, what are you doing? Because sometimes life doesn't unfold the way we expected, and when that happens, it can shake our faith. But what if those moments are not signs that God has abandoned us? What if they are actually moments when God is quietly redirecting us toward something greater? Today we're going to talk about why God sometimes allows our plans to fall apart and how those moments can be the beginning of something far better than we ever imagined. First of all, the illusion of control. One of the greatest struggles of the human heart is our desire for control. We want to control our future, our finances, our relationships, our health, and our plans. But the reality is, much of life is outside of our control. And when things fall apart, fear begins to grow. But Scripture reminds us in Proverbs, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." Trust requires something difficult. It requires letting go of control. So here's a story of redirection. There's a story told about a young man who desperately wanted to become a missionary. He prepared for years. He studied theology. He learned languages. He was certain God was calling him to travel across the world. But suddenly everything collapsed. His health failed. His plans ended. His dreams of missionary work seemed completely destroyed. But that young man eventually became a parish priest who spent his life hearing confessions and guiding souls. Over time, he helped thousands of people return to God. That priest was St. John Vianney. What looked like failure was actually God's redirection. When God closes doors, sometimes we think God's blessings only look like open doors, but sometimes God blesses us by closing doors. A relationship ends, a job opportunity disappears, a plan fails, and at first it feels painful, but later we often realize something profound. God was protecting us, He was guiding us, and He was preparing us. Trust in the dark. Faith is easy when life makes sense. Faith becomes real when it doesn't. Think of the disciples on the road to Emmaus. Their hopes had collapsed. Jesus had been crucified. Their expectations were shattered. But what they did not realize in that moment was that God was doing something far greater than they could see. The resurrection was already unfolding. Sometimes God is working most powerfully in the moments when we understand Him the least. The freedom of surrender. There is a strange freedom that comes when we surrender our plans to God. Because when we stop trying to control everything, we stop carrying a burden we were never meant to carry. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest." That rest comes when we trust that God sees the whole story, even when we only see a single chapter. I'd like to close with this reflection. If something in your life feels like it's falling apart right now, maybe God is not abandoning you. Maybe He is redirecting you. Maybe He is preparing something that you cannot yet see. And one day, looking back, you may realize something beautiful. What felt like an end was actually the beginning. This is the Catholic Journey with Deacon Pat Kearns. And remember, God is not just present in the moment that makes sense. He is also present in the moments that don't. And sometimes those are the moments where He is doing His greatest work. May God bless you and forever keep you, and I hope you have a wonderful day and always keep God close to you.